It's no secret that working in consulting comes with an immense dose of pressure, both internal and external. Pressure to perform, to succeed, to be recognized, celebrated. In this video, I will go over the most common sources of pressure, starting with the external like our peers, partners, or leadership, and ending with the internal. Let's dive in. Hello there, Bartosz here. In the past videos, we talked about the different aspects of the consulting world and how to best manage its negative influence. This is exactly what my psychology practice is all about and all the topics that I can best help you with. One overarching problem we touched upon but haven't elaborated is one most of you deal with, the feeling of pressure. Be it external or internal, it accompanies you even before joining a consulting firm, during your studies, and in the most challenging cases, even before that while growing up. I will discuss each of the 4 most common sources and how to approach them to minimize their negative effects. Number 1, our parents. It should come as no surprise that the people who have the largest influence on us growing up can be a source of many issues, but I will focus on pressure here, specifically career pressure. Of course, every parent wants what's best for their child in their mind. However, it can manifest into unhealthy pressure regarding one's choice of career. Many parents will try to influence their children to pursue a career that in their eyes will be the most successful, the most lucrative, or even prestigious. It is difficult to skillfully navigate such pressure, especially since most people make the career choices when choosing the studies in their early 20s, when more often than not, a person is not yet experienced or mentally resilient enough to make an informed choice. There are many implications of a consulting career one might not fully comprehend when going into this line of work. Some we've already discussed in previous videos, like long hours or the negative effect of reviews. It's plenty stressful and difficult to get into a consulting job, even more to maintain it. I've talked to many consultants who noted parents' expectation as one of the reasons they are still trying to make the job work, even when objectively for themselves they realize it's not something that makes them happy. There is no magic solution to the issue, unfortunately, and each relationship with one's parents is unique. But the general tip here is you live your life the best way you can according to your perspective. No one else should be telling you how to live, because at the end of the day, the life is yours and your parents should ideally support you no matter what career path you pursue. However, I'm not naive enough to believe that is always the case. Honest conversation and sharing your own feelings and ideas is usually the best way to address the issue of pressure with them. Again, if you want to discuss your specific circumstances and how to best navigate them, check out my website for open slots. I'll be happy to discuss. Number 2, peers. It is in our human nature to compare ourselves to each other, and as such, the peer pressure is another type of difficulty that a consultant has to deal with. You compare yourself to your batch that started with you, to others of your skill level and tenure, which naturally will be a source of conflict and negative emotions. Everyone is different and one's career progression depends on a multitude of factors, few of which are outside of one's control, like the staffing availability of projects, for example. Thus, it is impossible for everyone to get designated and recognized equally. Generally speaking, that comparison will only lead to negative effects, and though I know it is easier said than done, I encourage you to limit it and focus on your own individual goals and ensuring your well-being is in good standing. Developing as fast as possible can be devastating in the long run. Too many colleagues I've seen thrown into team leader roles way too early, for example. And work sustainability is extremely important if you want to avoid struggling and quickly burning out. Number 3, other external factors. Parents and peers are 2 major sources of pressure, but there are several others that also originate from the outside. One example is the external pressure of perceived societal value of working as a consultant and the perceived prestige that comes with it. Another is the general pressure of being successful that we as a species put on each other. An interesting example comes from the social media culture and how so many people feel the need to present their life in the best possible light publicly in front of others. People don't share mistakes, missteps, failures, regardless whether something can be actually classified as one. That also creates the warped perspective that many struggle with these days of everyone is doing better than me, is more successful, is happier, judging only from the limited and very skewed social media perspective. Not much one can do here aside from mentally separating real life from the online life and limiting the amount of time and attention given to the external pressure, etc. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but it's very individual depending on a personal situation. There are other, less common factors that come into play here. However, I want to transition now to, in my opinion, the most important one. Number 4, internal. This source is the most extensive and the most unique depending on a person. It's an amalgamation of one's fears, anxiety, need to prove oneself, to succeed, and so on. It's the pressure one puts on oneself, the hopes, the aspirations, the goals one decided on. Now, did you notice something interesting when we were going through the previous sources of pressure? Though the first three can be designated as external, the true effect one has on them is entirely internal. They shape one's own perspective. Those goals, needs, and fears I mentioned are created internally throughout one's life experience. In truth, there is no objective measurement of success. The social experience is entirely subjective, and each person has to decide that for themselves. It is quite a difficult task. It's much easier to seek those answers externally and then blame external factors for failure. At a certain level of self-awareness, you recognize that it's up to you to decide what's right for you, not the environment around you. That mindset shift can lead to a better management of our parents, peers, and other external pressure sources. Recognizing this fact is equal to taking full responsibility of one's decisions and actions. No matter how much pressure the external world exerts on a person, they have the last decision. Is it worth working long hours for what I get in return? Is the stress worth it? Am I good enough? All those questions and more don't have universal answers. You will need to find them for yourself. Thank you for watching this video. It's a little longer than usual and more abstract, but I hope it gave you food for thought and inspires you to seek your own answers. Please let me know in the comments if you'd like more of this type of videos with open-ended discussion. Naturally, if you need support on sorting this out for yourself, discuss your specific circumstances, or if there are any other issues I could help with, feel free to check out my website for available session slots and book the earliest one that works for you. If you cannot find a suitable time, you can send me an email and I will see if I can accommodate your schedule. That's all for today. If you made it all the way to the end, consider subscribing to stay up to date with my content. Also, let me know in the comments what other topics you'd like me to tackle. Until then, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!